If you love dark, slow-burn single-dad romances filled with restrained desire, emotional tension, and the kind of intimacy that builds in silence rather than words, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. The knock comes just after midnight. Not loud. Not frantic. 3 slow knocks, measured, deliberate, like whoever stands on the other side is deciding whether they're allowed to ask for help at all. Aaron Cole is awake already. He always is. Sleep stopped being something he trusted after the accident. After the house became too quiet. After the word single dad turned into something that followed him, even when there was no one left to hear it. He stands in the kitchen of his mountain cabin, bare feet against cold wood. A half-finished glass of whiskey untouched on the counter. The fire in the living room has burned low, casting shadows that stretch too far across the walls. No one comes here. That's the point. The cabin sits far enough from town that headlights are rare and visitors rarer. Aaron chose it for the silence, for the isolation, for the way nothing ever knocks unless it means something is wrong. The knock comes again. Aaron doesn't turn on the lights. He moves quietly, checking the window beside the door first, habit ingrained from years of watching instead of resting. The woman on his porch looks like she stepped out of the wrong night. White, early 30s, hair damp from rain clinging to her cheeks, a long coat pulled tight around her body like it's the only thing holding her together. She stands straight, but her eyes betray exhaustion, sharp, alert, carrying the kind of fear that's learned how to stay quiet. When Aaron opens the door, cold air rushes in. She exhales like she's been holding her breath for miles. "I'm sorry," she says immediately. "I wouldn't be here this late if I had another option." Aaron studies her in silence. People in trouble carry it differently. Some panic. Some beg. Some lie. She does none of that. "What do you need?" he asks. Her gaze flicks past him once, toward the darkness behind his shoulder. Somewhere safe. Just for tonight. Every instinct in him says no. He doesn't let strangers into his space. He doesn't invite complications. He doesn't open doors that took years to close again. But something about the way she says tonight, like she doesn't trust herself to ask for more, pulls at something buried in his chest. "Come in," he says finally. "But we talk first." Relief softens her posture, but she doesn't rush. She steps inside carefully, like she's learned that welcome can disappear without warning. "I'm Elise," she says quietly. "Aaron." She slips off her coat, and that's when he feels it. Not attraction, not exactly. Awareness. The way the air shifts when she lets the coat fall open. The way the cold has followed her inside. The way she stands there in worn clothes that look chosen for movement, not comfort, and suddenly his house feels smaller. Exposed. He gestures toward the kitchen table. "Sit." They face each other across the wood. The silence thick but not hostile. "I'm not in trouble with the police," Elise says. "I didn't steal anything. I didn't do anything wrong." Aaron nods once. "You running from someone?" She hesitates. Just a breath. "Yes." He doesn't ask who. "Not yet. I lost my wife 5 years ago," he says instead. "And my son the year before that." Elise stills. "I don't keep people here," he continues evenly. "If you stay tonight, it's because you understand that this doesn't come with promises." Her voice is steady when she answers. "I don't want promises. I just want the night to pass." That honesty settles something in him. "You can take the couch," Aaron says. "Bathroom's down the hall." Elise nods. "Thank you." That should be the end of it. It isn't. Morning arrives quietly. Aaron wakes to the sound of movement that doesn't spike his pulse the way it should. He follows the smell of coffee into the kitchen and stops in the doorway. Elise stands at the counter, hair pulled back loosely, wearing one of his sweaters, the one he left folded on the chair without thinking. It hangs off her shoulder, softening something about her that looked sharper the night before. "I hope that's okay," she says, noticing him. "I couldn't sleep." "Neither do I," he replies. They drink coffee in silence. It's careful, intimate in a way that has nothing to do with touch. Elise doesn't ask about the photographs on the shelf. Aaron doesn't ask where she'll go next. They exist in the space between questions. Later, she tells him the truth in pieces. She left a man with power, influence, A reputation for being charming in public and unforgiving in private. She didn't take his money, didn't take his name. She just disappeared. And he doesn't like not knowing where I am, she finishes. Aaron's jaw tightens. No one gets to decide that for you, he says. Elise watches him closely. You don't sound like someone who scares easily. I used to be a single dad, Aaron answers quietly. Fear teaches you priorities. Something shifts after that. Elise stays. Not because either of them asks, because leaving doesn't feel safe yet. Days fall into a rhythm neither names. Aaron cooks more than he has in years. Elise cleans without being asked. They share meals at the table instead of in separate rooms like Aaron used to. At night he locks the doors twice. Not because she asks, because the idea of failing to protect her does something sharp to his chest. The attraction builds slowly. In the way Elise looks at him when she thinks he isn't paying attention. In the way Aaron notices her shoulders relax when she hears his footsteps. In the way the house feels warmer without being louder. One evening a storm cuts the power. The cabin drops into darkness, sudden and complete. Elise inhales sharply before she can stop herself. Aaron is beside her instantly. Not touching, just close enough to be solid. It's okay, he murmurs. Just the storm. They sit on the couch by candlelight, rain hammering the roof. Her knee brushes his. Neither pulls away. I haven't felt safe like this in a long time, Elise admits softly. Aaron swallows. Neither have I. The kiss doesn't happen then. It happens later. Quietly. Elise reaches for a mug at the same time Aaron does. Their fingers brush. She freezes. He doesn't move away. Is this okay? He asks. She nods. Yes. The kiss is slow. Restrained. Almost reverent. It tastes like hesitation and relief tangled together. They pull apart breathless. We shouldn't rush this, Aaron says. I know, Elise replies. They both mean it. The danger resurfaces days later. A car idles too long at the end of the road. Aaron moves without thinking, locking doors, positioning himself between Elise and the window. His calm is frightening in its control. When it passes, Elise breaks. She shakes in his arms, fear finally cracking through the composure she's worn like armor. I didn't want to bring this into your life, she whispers. You didn't, Aaron says firmly. He did. She stays in his bed that night. They don't touch beyond what's needed to stay anchored. The intimacy is in the closeness, in the shared breathing, in the way Aaron's hand rests protectively at her back. Elise sleeps. Aaron doesn't. For the first time in years, he doesn't mind. Weeks pass. Legal steps are taken. Lines are drawn. The man from Elise's past loses leverage, then interest. The threat fades. And in the quiet that follows, something else grows. They make love slowly, intentionally, like two people relearning how to trust their bodies with someone else. There is no urgency, only presence. Afterward, Elise rests against his chest. You still a single dad? She asks softly. Aaron answers without hesitation. Always. She smiles. Then let me love all of that. Months later, the cabin feels different. Not erased. Expanded. One evening, Elise knocks playfully on the door from the porch. Aaron opens it, smiling. You know, she says. That midnight knock changed everything. He pulls her into his arms. It did. And for the first time since loss carved his life in two, Aaron knows this truth with certainty. Opening the door didn't undo him, gave him a way back. The days after the danger fades feel strangely intimate in their quiet. There's no rush to define anything. No conversations about labels or timelines. Instead, there are mornings where Elise wakes before Aaron and pads softly into the kitchen, careful not to disturb the fragile peace they've built. She learns how he takes his coffee without asking. He learns the way she hums under her breath when she's focused. Like sound helps anchor her to the moment. Aaron finds himself staying closer than necessary. Not hovering. Not watching. Just present. He notices how Elise moves through the cabin now with less caution. How her shoulders don't tense every time a car passes on the road below. She opens windows he hasn't opened in years. Lets light touch corners of the house that used to feel sealed shut. One evening while they're washing dishes side by side, Elise speaks without turning to look at him. You don't treat me like something fragile, she says. Aaron dries his hands slowly. You're not. She finally meets his gaze. Most people either want to save me or control me. His voice stays low. I just want you safe. The distinction matters. That night, the intimacy deepens, not in urgency but in trust. Their bodies move together without hesitation now. Familiarity replacing restraint. Aaron learns the places Elise still carries tension. The moments where she needs reassurance rather than passion. Elise learns the scars Aaron doesn't talk about. The quiet grief that still lives beneath his strength. Afterward, they lie tangled together. Breath slowing. Rain beginning again against the roof. I didn't expect this, Elise murmurs. You. Neither did I, Aaron admits. The honesty feels grounding instead of frightening. Days later, Elise receives confirmation that the situation is truly over. No more legal pressure. No more surveillance. No more need to hide. She shows Aaron the message without celebration, watching his reaction carefully. You're free, he says. She nods. I am. The word hangs between them. That night, Elise stands on the porch alone for a long time, staring out at the trees. Aaron joins her quietly, slipping his jacket around her shoulders without asking. What happens now? She asks. He answers honestly. I don't know. She turns toward him. But you're not asking me to leave. Aaron meets her gaze steadily. I'm asking you to stay. If you want to. Elise doesn't answer right away. She studies his face like she's memorizing it. Every line earned, every emotion unguarded. I do, she says finally. But not because I need protection. He nods. Good. Because I choose you. The words land deeper than anything she's said before. Weeks pass. Elise brings more of herself into the space. Books, clothes, traces of a life that isn't running anymore. Aaron realizes how easily she fits. How the cabin doesn't feel invaded but completed. The silence between them isn't heavy now. It's shared. One night, as they sit together by the fire, Elise traces a slow line across Aaron's chest. You know, she says softly, you didn't just give me somewhere to hide. He raises an eyebrow. No. You reminded me what it feels like to be wanted without being owned. Aaron's throat tightens. You reminded me that protecting someone doesn't mean losing myself. She leans in, kissing him deeply, deliberately. No fear, no hesitation. Months later, Elise knocks on the cabin door again. Not because she needs shelter. Because she likes the way Aaron looks when he opens it. You keep answering like you're surprised, she teases. He pulls her inside, smiling. I still am. And standing there with her in his arms, Aaron knows something he never thought he'd feel again. Opening the door that night didn't just change everything. It gave him a future he's no longer afraid to live.